Yesterday, we got a huge surprise, and LeBron James, out of nowhere, returned for his first game since the injury. And it was huge, right? Yes, the Lakers lost. I understand that they lost, and I see a lot of people that are just kind of throwing it at LeBron, blaming LeBron. It's his first game back, and we'll dive into that in a second. But the fact that he even returned when many believed that he might be done for the whole season, that we got the reports that he wouldn't be back till, the last 3 games of the season, and he came back with 8 games left of the season. We need LeBron James. He is very important, very significant with this team. But LeBron, based on reports that we got, actually had a torn tendon in his foot, and that 2 doctors wanted him to have season-ending surgery. And then, as he put it, that he went and met with the LeBron James foot doctors, and they were able to make it work. I wonder if that was the whole Dennis Schroeder, German doctors are really good, right? Dennis Schroeder had an actual comment when he was asked about LeBron James and his recovery and stuff, and he said something along those lines of hey, those German doctors are really great. But regardless, nonetheless, he's back. Whatever it is. He says that, if he does have surgery in the offseason, no one's going to hear about it, and he will be ready to go for next season. So he's very likely going to play the rest of the season. If we make the play-in, and then the playoffs, he's going to do that all the way up until, we can't play any more basketball, whether we win the championship or we are eliminated in the first, second, third, fourth round, whatever, right? LeBron James, he will deal with it in the offseason. But still, this was his first game back. And yes, we lost to the Chicago Bulls. That sucked. That hurt. Losses happen. Games happen. Guys have bad nights. And this was just a bad night across the board. It wasn't just LeBron James. The Lakers, as a package, really didn't deliver. We didn't have a single guy score 20 points. The closest was LeBron. He had 19 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, with 6 of 11 from the field. He did have 5 turnovers. That's just kind of LeBron, though. Some of those turnovers were just forced turnovers, lack of chemistry, stuff like that, right? High usage guys usually turn the ball over. LeBron is up there in turnovers, but he is a guy that can take care of the ball. You saw a guy out there that it was his first game, right? And he still shot over 50% from the field. He still gave you 19 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists. This was, again, all across the board. This has nothing to do with LeBron James. Now, question I've been asked a lot lately since his return is, do I think the Lakers would have played better and maybe won this game if LeBron didn't return? I do. And for several reasons. One, it's not that we're better than LeBron James. We're not, right? We need LeBron James. LeBron James makes this team so much better, right? Fully healthy, which last night we weren't fully healthy. We still didn't have D'Angelo Russell. Fully healthy, this team's 3-0. D'Angelo Russell is going to provide and help a lot because it just gives you another scorer, another 3-level guy, a guy that could play make, guy that could shoot 3 ball. Maybe he would have went off and that could have been the difference. Who knows? But we are not better without LeBron James. But what it is second is we had a game plan. We were all prepared, the Lakers were prepared to execute said game plan, and they were ready to go. Now, as the game gets ready to start, word comes out that LeBron James is going to play. Now, there was the possibility, but they didn't know for sure until the actual game played. And then when that happens, boom, all that game plan just went out the window because LeBron's back. And LeBron's got to get in his groove. He's got to get his game legs underneath him, all of that stuff. So you saw guys have bad games. I don't necessarily think that LeBron is the sole reason for guys having bad games, but other guys might have stepped up harder without LeBron because you saw moments in this Bulls game where they kind of just relied on LeBron and was just trying to force feed LeBron. And then also LeBron trying to force feed guys like AD, right? You saw LeBron on several occasions, instead of making, just running the right play or doing something, tried to force feed the ball. Again, Don't really mind that. It's his first game back. I'm not blaming LeBron for this loss. This is not on LeBron James. This isn't on one individual person, player, whatever. This was just a bad game by the Lakers. And look at it like this. The Chicago Bulls played about as good of a game as you could play. Literally, in every category. The Lakers played about as bad of a game as you could play. And it still felt like we could have won this game. That is not a good sign for Chicago come Wednesday. Now we'll see what happens on Wednesday. But he was rusty, which you would expect for a guy that's just coming back for his first game. Chemistry wasn't there. Guys were off. Guys didn't really know where to be at times. It was a mess. It looked like a team that just didn't have chemistry because they don't with LeBron James. Now, if LeBron didn't play, then guys would have ran the sets that they usually run. Guys would have done what they usually do. Schroeder, maybe he was more aggressive. Maybe Reeves would have been more aggressive. Maybe Anthony Davis. Maybe this would have been a game where he had, 30, something like that. There could have been differences. So yes, maybe the guys would have played better. But here's the thing. I would much rather lose this game to allow LeBron to get his legs underneath him and start this process early than get to the end of the season. He comes back with 3 games left, and we need all 3 of those games because we didn't have LeBron James and guys were hurt and all that stuff, and we lost a couple games along the way. I would rather that. Because now, LeBron, we might have gotten a game like this during those games that were absolutely diehard. You missed the play-in or you go. Now, maybe that wouldn't have happened. Maybe the Lakers beat Chicago. Maybe they beat Chicago again. And then maybe they beat the Timberwolves and then LeBron comes back. And then it's like, oh, you only need to win like 2 games the rest of the way and you're like the 7th seed. That could have been a possibility. But I would much rather get LeBron ready now. So the last 5 games of the season, LeBron and this team is ready to go, full force, full-fledged, building chemistry, and then we, maybe sweep that board or go, 4-1, whatever during that stretch. And now LeBron is fresh, ready to go, got his legs underneath him. This team understands. Everybody knows the role. Everyone's playing their part. This team is clicking on all cylinders. We got momentum going into the play-in or the playoffs. I would rather have that. I would take that. I would take this loss 10 out of 10 times if that's what the outcome turns out to be, right? Now, if this Chicago Bulls game turns out to be the difference, well then, you could say the same thing about the Dallas game or the Rockets game or, the 2-10 start in the beginning of the season, right? This Chicago Bulls loss is not going to be the difference between us making it or not. But what this can be is the difference between LeBron James getting settled in or not. LeBron James being ready to go come the playoffs or not. Guys having chemistry and knowing their roles and knowing their parts and LeBron understanding what he needs to do on a nightly basis, that could be the difference between now and then. Because now instead of 3 games to figure that out, we have 8 games to figure that out and we have days off in between. So they're going to be doing practices and scrimmages and all kinds of stuff, and LeBron, he can ramp up and he can start building that chemistry. I would much rather have that. Right? Once we get everybody healthy, I think we're off to the races. And I've said this before, and I still believe this. I think I said the other day, I made a video about this. He talked about LeBron's return, and I've been preaching that LeBron, I think, it's not like inside information or anything. It was just my personal guess. I was preaching that I think LeBron James returns during one of these Bulls games. I didn't necessarily think it was the first Bulls game, although I said if he did, great, but he's here. And now that he's here, and now we can get fully healthy, I really do think that we are going to be off to the races sooner rather than later. I said that it'll probably take about a game or 2 for LeBron to get himself back to being LeBron. And once he does, I wouldn't be shocked if we go undefeated into the season. Again, we're 3-0 with LeBron and a fully healthy roster. Now, small sample size, but still, those are some good teams. We played Memphis. We played the Warriors at home. We were Minnesota just beat them yesterday, but before Minnesota beat them, I think we were the last team to beat them at home. So all of those things, right? And you saw games where like they had a game where LeBron and AD had like 12 points each or 13 points. One of them had 13, one of them had 12, and we won by like 20, right? Again, because you have D'Angelo Russell, who is another guy that could play, and he's been great off the ball. He has been really good off the ball for the Lakers. And now he's going to be able to play off the ball with LeBron. And you saw, if you remember, if not, you can go back and watch highlights. D'Angelo Russell running the pick and roll with LeBron was just brutal for teams. That was killing teams. He's going to be able to run that with LeBron. He's going to be able to run that with AD. He's going to be able to get a heavy dose, but he's also a guy that can knock it down at an efficient clip. He's also a guy that could shoot, 38% from three and knock down 5 threes in a game. We've seen him do that on multiple occasions during this run, right? So once he's back, once Beasley, hopefully he starts getting into the swing of things. We saw him, he hit several shots, and we saw him rattle off several at the end of the game. So he went 6 of 14, which is 42%. That's good. But like 3 of those came towards the end of the game. He made like 3 out of 4 or whatever. My hope is that was the kind of like igniter. You saw him get better looks with LeBron James. He's going to get even better looks with LeBron James and D'Angelo Russell on the court together with him, because those two guys are going to be able to operate and get him the ball where he needs to get it. You already saw LeBron's impact in that game, and Beasley got some good looks. He just didn't knock him down. He's going to get comfortable in that position, and once he does, I think he steps up. And LeBron is just so good at, we got Beasley for LeBron, right? And so many people have been on Beasley's helmet, and it's because he hasn't had LeBron. Like, I don't think the Lakers would have maybe they still would have gotten him because he's kind of an add-on, but the whole big allure of Beasley was, oh man, he would be so good next to LeBron James. And he played 3 games with LeBron. It was his best 3 games that he's had with the Lakers. And then LeBron gets hurt, and that's it. And he's struggled ever since. He's going to get back to being a good shooter. He's going to have bad games, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's going to knock down 8 threes a game every game the rest of the way. But I think he's going to have a much easier time going forward. And once LeBron actually understands, okay, he likes the ball here, he likes to be there, this is his pocket, this is where I need to hit him. All of that is really going to help, right? Our big 3, I still think is one of, if not the best big 3s in the league. I mean, what big 3 as a whole is better than these guys? Maybe the closest is Milwaukee, but Anthony Davis and LeBron James is better than Giannis and Drew Holiday or Giannis and Middleton. I'm not saying that either of them are better than Giannis, but if you take those two as a package and you look at LeBron and AD, LeBron and AD are better as a package than Giannis and Holiday. And, and then you add in D'Angelo Russell and all his playmaking ability, his shooting, his ability to play off the ball, all that stuff. It's great. It really is. But regardless, wherever you rank them, it's still one of the best 3. And this roster as a whole is deep, talented, gifted. I mean, we've seen it. We've seen this team play very well. And it's gonna happen again. We'll probably more likely than not have another game like this. Whether it's the next Bulls game or it's the Timberwolves game or it's, the Suns game later on or whatever. Guys have bad games. We just won 3 out of our last 4. And now let's go rattle off these next 3, right? You got the Bulls again, you got the Timberwolves, and then you got the Rockets. All 3 of those games we should win, right? We should win all those games. You get the bounce back game against Chicago, which again, Chicago played about as perfect of a game as you could, and the Lakers still had a chance to beat them, even with the Lakers playing terrible. Lakers had probably one of the worst games as a collective team that they've had this season with this roster. And we still had an opportunity to win this. And I think, to me, that's a positive more than it's a negative. It sucks that we took that loss, and now we drop under 500 again, but we got 7 games. I think we go at least 5-2 over these 7. I do. I think we can go 5-2 over these 7. So then if that happens, that would put us at what? 42 wins, which is what I said we need to get to. 42, 43 wins. If we can get to 42, 43 wins. But since we've had these 8 games, the conversation has always been, can we go 5-3 or 6-2? Right? That was always the conversation. Can we go 5-3, 6-2? And we're still there. We're still on pace. The Jazz seem to be packing it in. We should beat the Jazz twice. Clippers, they've been struggling lately. I think we can beat the Clippers, especially with this roster now, even though that they've kind of had our number. We'll see what the Suns do, because the Suns, they have very likely are going to have the 4 seed locked up by the time we play them. So if they have the 4 seed locked up, are they going to play Kevin Durant and Devin Booker and Chris Paul? Maybe. But I don't think they care as much about beating the Lakers as they do about getting healthy into the playoffs. So, I could see them packing it in. So that might be another win. We got the Rockets. That should be a win because AD and LeBron are playing. And then, it just boils down to this Bulls and Memphis game. You get those 2 games, who knows? Maybe you go 7-0, right? And then you get 44 wins. That might be enough to get the 6th seed. But regardless, I think we'll be fine. Get to the 7th or 8th seed. We're good. You only got to win 1 game, play 2 to win 1, and now you're playing one of Memphis, Sacramento, or Denver. And I think we have a real shot to beat any of those teams in a 7-game series. I'm not worried about the Lakers not making the playoffs. If they don't, we'll talk about it then. But I do think that they make the playoffs. I've been pretty spot on with this stuff this season, at least, and I do. I'm telling you, I think the Lakers make the playoffs. But we'll see. Anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? However you feel. Love to hear it. Let me know.